No way did the US military just do a Maduro in Scotland.
Two people have been abducted from Scotland in the middle of the night. Our sovereignty has been violated, our courts have been defied, and a foreign military has abducted two people from our territory.
Yeah, so earlier this month, a Russian-flagged oil tanker was seized as it was traveling through the waters between Iceland and Scotland. And in a late-night hearing on Monday, the court ruled that the ship's captain and the first officer must be kept in the UK under Scottish territorial jurisdiction. And this was actually at the request of the captain's wife, Nadia, fearing that her husband could be abducted. However, the very next day, he disappeared. It was only after Scotland's prosecution office revealed that at about 3:04 a.m., they received an email from the US Justice Department informing them that they went on board and are now in possession of both the captain and first officer. Nice of them to email, though. Now, the Scottish Greens Party co-leader was furious, saying that the Scottish and UK governments need to respond to this, and even suggested evicting all US troops from where they're based in Prestwick Airport. Now, the US have responded to these claims, saying that their arrest was lawful, and that the men will now be brought to the United States to face prosecution in a US court. So, what do you guys think? Should Scotland be pissed right now, or was this arrest fair?
Okay, so I'm gonna say what I'm gonna come at it like I don't really know what's going on, right? I'm not saying that whether the U.S. is right or wrong, right? Because there's, from what he just reported, there's really no detail on why we did it, right? So I'm gonna leave it to see why we did it, right or wrong. Okay, but I'm gonna say this. Okay, I believe that we should get out of NATO. We should like really not ally with these other countries anymore, in my opinion, right? At least not militarily ally, right? Trade, okay, whatever, right? It's always beneficial to trade with each other, but I mean, the NATO thing, right? Fine, you on your own. We don't need. We do what you want to do, right? Because as critical as you are with Trump, I'll say this, right? Out of all current, modern, contemporary U.S. presidents, no one's gonna F with Trump. Greenland, Scotland, you want to say shit? What are you gonna do? Oh, evict our troops? Cool, whatever. So what? I mean, you wanna battle? You wanna F with us? You ain't gonna do shit, right? You ain't doing anything that's very substantial. Okay, fine. We have no troops on your land. Great. So what? Okay. To be honest, the troops on each place is more like a military strategy where we could easily mobilize troops, right? If we're in certain places. But fine, we're not there. Who cares? If something happens, which is doubtful, right? If something happens to those areas, we're not a part of it. I wouldn't complain about that. I'm just saying that like you ain't gonna mess with us, right? For us to do all the things we're doing militarily in foreign lands, yeah, no one's gonna. You think we're a joke? What are you gonna do about it? You ain't doing shit. You talk like all countries, probably besides Russia and China, will only talk a whole lot of shit. They're not gonna do nothing, right? Because the U.S. is the baddest mother ever around. You ain't mess with the U.S., right? You ain't mess with the U.S. And I don't mind that. I don't mind being the biggest and baddest, right? I don't. But like I said, I'm gonna like a preference. Like I don't know if it's right or wrong, right? Because still, it seems like the reports are sparse. So if we're wrong by capturing people, we shouldn't have done that, right? We shouldn't have done that. But I mean, if it's for the benefit of the U.S., right? If it's for the benefit of the U.S., I don't care. I'm sorry. America first, right? If it benefits the U.S. in some kind of way, I agree. If it benefits the American people in some kind of way, right? I don't know, like drugs, like getting rid of drugs, getting rid of I don't know, whatever. Okay, I agree. But if it's not, if it's trying to, I don't know, do something stupid, then yeah, I'll be critical of it. So I just want to say that. This is extremely dishonest. I saw a few people talking about the arrest of Don Lemon. Okay, they're saying, oh, they're arresting him because he covered a protest. The First Amendment, all that crap. They're being dishonest. Every single person, right, who is against the arrest of Don Lemon, the only thing they say is that, oh, you're arresting a journalist who was protesting, who was covering a protest, who was exercising their First Amendment. That's what they're saying. Not a single one of them mentioned him being in that church. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them mentioned him entering a church and disrupting a congregation, frightening people, scaring people. Not a single one of them. You wonder why. Because that would change the narrative. That would change the narrative to see that, what, maybe it wasn't about the First Amendment, right? Maybe it was about him terrorizing a group of people who had nothing to do with anything, right? Who's minding their own business. A group of people who weren't outside doing whatever, right? Who's minding their own business. He entered, right, a church, uninvited, but it's a church, and terrorized a group of people. That's what he did. That's not you exercising your First Amendment. No, that's you being a terrorist, right? That's you terrorizing citizens. So he wasn't arrested for exercising his First Amendment. He was arrested for being a jackass, for being a dick, right? For being, honestly, what is it? Probably a terrorist in a sense, right? Not necessarily harmful, but malicious, right? Not a single one of these people, right, who was talking about their outrage about Don Lemon being arrested, mentions the church. Not a single one of them. That's why you see how, this is why I'll constantly see how Democrats, how the left are dishonest. Okay? They don't mention the whole picture, right? Probably Don Lemon was covering the protest. He was outside, joining all, whatever. But it stopped once he entered that church. Once he terrorized those people, right? Once he brought fear into these people. Because who's gonna know, right? What would any of these people know what they're doing? None of these churchgoers knew what these random ass people entering their church was gonna do to them. So I think it's funny. I think this is why I'm honestly said where I'm fed up with the left. I'm fed up with Democrats. They're dishonest people. They're hypocrites. They like to control the media. This is why so many people are upset about the media. This is why they're so against the media, right? Because shit like this. They're so outraged about the media. How you guys want to create such a skewed narrative and then it turns into like a propaganda, right? A propaganda machine. This is the problem I'm finding. Absolutely disgusting with these people. You know, this might be controversial, but I don't really care about the people that die by the hands of ICE, right? The protesters, I mean. I don't really care about the protesters that die by the hand of ICE. I don't care about these white liberals. I don't. Because what are they fighting for? They're fighting for these types of idiots, right? These types of degenerates. A offender arrested in Minnesota, right, on January 29th. ICE apprehended this idiot, a criminal, illegal alien from Laos, convicted of SA against a child aged 13 to 15. Okay, he entered the U.S. as a refugee and became a lawful permanent resident, but in 2007, but his shocking crime cost him that status. He was placed into a removal processing, and in 2019, a judge issued his removal order. Okay, we don't need these types of people in our country. Okay, a refugee. You know, this shit is disgusting. Okay, This is a thing where. This is what. Right, these types of protesters are fighting for, right? The woman that got shot, the white male that got shot. This is what those idiots are fighting for. Okay, to keep these types of people in our country. No, I have no sympathy. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm sorry. Because good riddance. Good riddance to idiots that think that this is fine to be in these types of degenerates are fine to be in our country. No, right? This disgusting ass individual took the place of a probably, another, better immigrant or whatever. So no, I'm 100% supporting of ICE, either revoking, visas or green cards of terrible people, or deporting illegal immigrants, or the due process right here. This is the due process, right? People constantly say, "Where's the due process?" We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I honestly believe there's probably, there is due process. You can already see. This is a due process right here, right? I'm not saying that there aren't terrible Americans. There are, but we don't need to add to the terrible population. Okay, no. So ICE is not just fighting the illegal, right, entries. They're fighting the people who don't deserve to be here, right? They're taking away the people who don't deserve to be here. So 100%, I support ICE. These people are disgusting human beings.
ICE has killed more Americans in 2026 than illegal immigrants have.
Fact check it if you want, right? D.L. Hughley's an idiot. Democrats are stupid. The left is a bunch of fools. Okay? Please show me the list of how many, right, people ICE have killed. Please show me. I would love to know. Right? You can fact check those names as well, right? But from what I'm seeing, seems like illegal immigrants have killed more than ICE. Now, this is the thing where two things can be true at once, right? You can be critical of how ICE is handling things. Okay, right? We shouldn't be seeing the death of Americans, right? But let's be honest too, these are stupid people, right? Foolishly protesting something that is absolutely idiotic. You're protesting the deportations of illegal immigrants. Where were you when Obama and Biden did it? You weren't around. You didn't care. But when Trump does it, now you supposedly care about these illegal immigrants. Ain't that something? Ain't that amazing? Right? When D.L. Hughley, right? Want to talk about illegal immigrants, right? Want to talk about ICE. Didn't say shit when Obama, was pushing that thing out, right? We're critical of how stupid these so-called Americans are, these leftists and Democrats interfering in federal processes, right? You F around, you find out. I mean, again, it's bad. It's not, you could be critical of you could be critical that, we shouldn't be losing lives during these process. I mean, they could be arrested, they could be prosecuted, okay, but lives shouldn't be lost. But still, these were idiots, and they weren't. There's not more people getting killed by ICE than actual illegal immigrants. And this is also another thing how you can see how media works. None of those names are plastered on media, right? They're not, being in the news like that, if at all. While one or two stupid protesters are constantly in rotation in the media by leftist media. Absolutely idiotic. Right? This is the thing where I try my best. If I'm not clear on something, I try not to voice certain opinions because I probably wouldn't know. Like I said, I don't know how many people have died by the hands of ICE, so I'm not out here spewing about it. Obviously, this idiot doesn't know too, right? And he doesn't know how many people who have died by illegal immigrants. So I'm not making videos about that because I probably don't know that well. But glad someone else is, glad there's an actual website that shows it. Now you can fact check it to make sure yourself, but I'm pretty sure that more people die by illegal immigrants than ICE. So.
I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. People don't really see people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get.
She's the woman that's supposedly saying ICE kidnapped her or arrested her and all that shit, right? Who knows if it's true? We'll see. But I just wanted to talk about the first few seconds, right? Like proud of being Somali and all that stuff. I always find it funny that the ones that hate America, the ones that are so proud of their ethnicity, proud of their country of origin, are the same people that leave their country of origin, won't go back to their country of origin, won't stay in their country of origin, and won't leave America. I've always said this, right? I'm not saying that I'm not proud of being an Asian, right? An Asian American, but I've always said it's America first. I view myself as American before anything else. Before being Vietnamese or whatever, okay? I view myself as being American. America first. I'm proud of being an American. That's above all else, okay? So I'm not going to say that, I'm proud of being Asian, I'm proud of being Vietnamese. No, I'm proud of being an American. Being an American has given me the life that, that I have, okay? I believe there probably is countries better than America, but as an American, America's the best country for me, okay? America's the best. I only wish the best for America. I just find it weird that some people who don't want to assimilate, who don't want to be part of the American culture, way of life, American ideology, be good citizens, be lawful, abiding citizens, care about America, care about the country. Are the same people who always hate on the country, always want to carry the flags of other countries, always want to rep that they're from other countries, yet won't leave to be in those other countries or left those countries to be in America for whatever reason, right? Better opportunities. You pretty much, if you say any reasons, it shows you that your country wasn't that great, and you would gladly leave your country for something better. You're not a citizen that I'm all that crazy to clamor about. So I'm just those few seconds just got me a little bit I guess I'm gonna say triggered, but I mean it's just funny perspective that a lot of the protesters, the right, the left constantly wave the things they do just shows you how un-American they are. So.